Hey guys, I'm live. How you guys doing? I want to do a rant similar in nature to the rant I did yesterday about hate. Only it's not going to be about hate today. But it's going to be just brainstorming when I don't even know what I'm going to say about anything. I'm just going to mention a topic. I'm just going to say whatever crap comes in my head. So anyway, thanks for watching that last whoever did. So this rant is about the issue of talent. So I just want to rant about it. Lots of people say I have no talent, but that's easier to say than to prove, because first of all, to prove I have no talent, you have to define talent. That has to be the right definition. Who knows if it is or not? Then you have to decide that I don't have that, and then you have to be right about that. And that's a lot of proving to have to do to back up the statement, I have no talent. And not only that, anybody that does that series of steps that could lead to the conclusion that have no talent would be a different person. And everybody might have a different result than everybody else. I would have some people that say I have no talent, but then I have some people that say I do. And you would say who would be the decider of who's right in that debate. So here's my ultimate disclaimer. Maybe I have no talent. I might have no talent. It works for me, but that doesn't prove I don't. It doesn't even define what talent is, nor did I define what talent is, nor is my decision that I sit there when I say I have no talent, nor might that decision be true. In other words, that decision may not be true. Of my own decision that I have no talent might not even be true. But I'm in good company in many ways, even if I do say I have no talent, because Eddie Van Halen, the great, said in the 80s, it was like 84 or something like that. He said, a telling statement on interview, he said, "If I have music in me." And I noted that Eddie Van Halen said that. He didn't assume he had music. He said, "If I have music in me," which is very telling about someone's belief they have no talent or questioning talent. First of all, the person saying that of himself might not be right, because I believe Eddie does have music in him. But I'm in good company even if I do say I have no music in me, because Eddie Van Halen said questioned the same thing in himself. And he's the first or second greatest guitarist, rock guitarist that ever lived, by all probability. So I'm just saying, that people have said about them to their own selves, even great people questioning their ability. Vernon Reid, the guitarist for Living Colour, he did an interview in like 1988 or 1989, and he said that he was in a band. He said that he was in a band before Living Colour called the Decoding Society. And he said in an interview in 1988 or 1989, he said he actually thought for a while when he was in the Decoding Society that he had no talent. And Vernon Reid said that about himself. So I don't know. It's fun to toy with the idea, though, Maybe I have no talent, but what is talent? And how do I know if I don't have that? And who gets to say all that? Who gets to define what talent is, and then furthermore get to judge somebody, including myself? But, whatever, I'm just ranting. But here's some evidence. There's some evidence probably for and against me having talent. And probably is, both those evidences. I'm just going to rant about a few of them. I've had to tune my guitars live a lot, especially some lately, where I go live and I'm not in tune. But when I stop and tune, I tune pretty accurately. I'm not tone deaf. There's evidence of that, because I don't use guitar tuners to tune. In fact, I gave my guitar tuner, electronic guitar tuner, away in exchange for a ride to a gig. $100 chromatic guitar tuner, and just to pay, just for thanks for taking me to a gig. So I don't even have an electronic guitar tuner right now. And the only tuners I could probably find were pitch pipes, and even then you have to use your own ear. And even then, even to use a pitch pipe, you have to have the talent of knowing what a pitch is, or you can't use it. But I've shown that I can tune my guitars live when I'm out of tune, which shows I'm not tone deaf, which is at least part of talent. I can't be toneless, Jimmy Rex Wiseman, unless if by toneless you mean I can't hear pitches, because I've proven I can. If you mean that I have no tone as far as my amp sound, well, that's only your opinion. You may not like the tone that I have on my amp, but you can't prove that I have no tone. You just think that you just call me toneless and think that sounds cool. It makes you cool for thinking of it, but doesn't mean very much when I do get a guitar tone, and I do know how to hear pitches because I've shown that I can tune, a guitar without a tuner on live. And then another thing is, I am able to move my fingers and get notes out of the guitar. In fact, I move them very fast. And I would dare to say I move them very accurately. But even if I don't, I still move them, which means I still do make some notes, which can be construed as music, which could be construed as talent. And I even do it quite fast at times, which is even another cool thing, is that I not only can play notes, I can play fast notes, which again is more evidence that I might have some talent. Now, you may not like the fast notes I play, but that's your opinion. It doesn't prove I have talent. So I'm just ranting, Rhythm speaking. Rhythm is another area where you can have talent or not. I think I'm pretty good. I think I know the theory of rhythm. First off, time signatures don't confuse me. Paul Gilbert, great guitarist, said in an interview a while back, he said, time signatures still confuse me. Well, that's not nothing against him, but it does say that understanding time signatures is a formidable thing, and I do, which is more evidence I might have talent. As far as having natural rhythm, I think I have some. I'm not. I don't have. There's others that have probably better rhythm than me, but I think I have some. And I understand time signatures, and I know about rhythm theory, and there's something tells me I have some rhythmic talent, which is again, proof that evidence that I might have talent. So, but having said all that, who's to say if I have talent? I might not. I might not have any musical talent, even though I said all that. There's still the possibility I have no talent. First of all, it's good to keep an open mind about any issue, much less having talent, having open method. Science. So, sure, open mind. I might have no talent, but then again, I might. And not only that, then again, I think I entertain. One of my commenters, Sir John, I think he goes by, said that talented people are a dime a dozen, but entertainers are not. And Jimmy's an entertainer. So even if I have no talent, I think I entertain. I think that's cool. And not only that, I think I'm getting better at entertaining because people like the moderator are giving me tips and practicing my entertainment qualities, and getting better at that too. And learning to have fun on camera, and learning to entertain if I can. And who knows, there's even a chance I might have some talent, whatever that means. So I guess